and Joe Biden is doing that, created 9 million jobs in his term in office. Donald Trump has the worst record of job loss of any president. So we just have to make sure people know.
That was a global pandemic.
He had the worst record of any president. We've had other concerns in our country. If you want to be an apologist for Donald Trump, that may be your role, but it ain't mine. And he has the worst.
I don't think that anybody can accuse me of that.
Wow. Nancy Pelosi's meltdown proves that they know they can't beat Trump. And you have to understand that interview with Nancy Pelosi was on MSNBC. Yeah. I said MSNBC, and she accused the host of being a Trump apologist. Think about that. Nancy Pelosi got so mad, she got so ticked off at Katy Tur, the host of that show on MSNBC, that she actually accused Katy Tur of being a Trump apologist. And she got pissed off because Katy Tur merely reminded her of a very key fact in all of this economic data. And by reminding her of that fact, she completely lost it. Basically got speechless, couldn't even move forward before she started yelling at her. If Nancy Pelosi can go on MSNBC, a friendly neighborhood like MSNBC, and completely lose it on the host, then you know that they know it's over. And then, shortly thereafter, another devastating poll dropped on CNN.
As you know, Americans don't assess the economy through the economic indicators and data that we all report on constantly. They assess it through how they feel about it. 34% currently approve of Biden's handling of the economy, so significantly lower than his overall job approval. 66% disapprove. And when you ask, how is the economy going today? What's your rating of it? 30% of Americans say it's good. 70% of Americans say it's poor. I just want to note here that the economy is overwhelmingly the most important issue for voters. This is not insignificant. And so while there are a ton of other issues that we discuss, and even issues that the president performs worse on, the Israel-Hamas war, immigration, the economy is still front and center for people. So this is something you're going to hear Biden talk about day in and day out to try to boost those numbers up as well.
Did you hear that dude talking? He was actually having a hard time getting the words to come out of his mouth based upon the words he was reading off the teleprompter. These people just don't seem to get it. It's always been about the economy. Libtards waste their lives and waste their time trying to pump up their issues and causes that they are concerned with, and they don't listen to what American people really care about, which is the economy. If you can't have prosperity, if you can't feed your families, if you can't put gas in the car, if you can't basically pay rent or pay your mortgage, all that other shit doesn't matter. And that's why I'm telling you right now, as I've told you in a couple other videos, it's over. Other than fudging the numbers or messing with the machines or something, there's no way they can win, especially when you factor in the account of RFK Jr. as a third-party candidate. There's no way for him to make up the ground. You know it, I know it, and they know it. And for them, Trump winning is like the actual end of the world. So now they're going to begin telling you it's the end of the world as you know it, to coin a phrase from the song by REM. But to them, it really is the end of the world as you know it.
This time next year, I might not be sitting here. There might not be a White House Correspondents' Dinner or a free press. While our democracy wouldn't exactly fall apart immediately without it, the real threat looms larger. A candidate with outward disdain, not just for a free press, but for all of our freedoms and for the rule of law itself.
Oh, poor girl. Sweetie, you might have to get a real job. Who told you that gaslighting America was a great career choice? I hear they're hiring down at Columbia University. Just put on a scarf and run around and you pretty much can do whatever you want. And now they're even trotting out looser Liz Cheney out there to try and demand that the Supreme Court do something. Stop Trump. You got to stop Trump. We got to put him in jail.
The idea that the January 6th trial would be delayed until after the election, you know, in my view, it just can't be the case that a president can attempt to steal an election
See how they can say that? They can say those words. We can't say it. We can't say that he didn't, but they can say that he did. That's just one of the little nuances that these nutbags keep putting out there.
To seize power, and we can't hold him to account until after the next election.
You had your chance. You went through 2 impeachments, not 1, 2 impeachments. And you've been dogging this guy since the day he came down the escalator because Daddy and the rest of your military complex friends are afraid they're not making billions more over the next couple of years.
I think that the Supreme Court may well, have wanted to be clear that there are certain areas where a president might enjoy immunity.
So what are those ways where someone, president would enjoy immunity that fits with your perspective?
For example, a commander-in-chief acting during a time of war. And that may be why they took the case. But I think it's crucially important that they rule quickly and decisively.
She wants them to rule quickly and decisively because she wants them to put him in jail. That's the only way they think they can win. I don't even think they can win if they put him in jail. But nonetheless, that's what she's pushing for. She wants the Supreme Court to come back as fast as possible. Let Jack Smith keep going with his trial. Somebody, anybody, put Donald Trump in jail.
That no circumstance under which a president's actions would be protected by immunity exists here. No president can attempt to do what Donald Trump did and enjoy immunity for that.
And so the barking seals all applaud. They love what she had to say, even though she was full of crap. She's been full of crap. That's why her own state, the people of Wyoming, booted her. I mean, she lost by like 30 plus points. They all recognized she went to Washington and got Washingtonized. She wasn't representing the people of Wyoming. She's full of crap. Nobody wants to hear what Liz Cheney has to say except the barking seals who loathe Donald Trump. And then Cruella de Vil herself decided to jump in and reaffirm to everybody that indeed, if Donald Trump was elected, it would be the end of the world as we know it. She posted this on Twitter/X today. If Donald Trump becomes president again, it wouldn't be as bad as it was the last time. It would be much, much worse. Read about his plans as he describes them in the new Time interview and take them seriously. She responded to that interview article that went up on Time magazine today, which read like the Democrats' version of Revelation. I mean, man, they just could not take the things that he said he wanted to see happen. He's not playing ball with them anymore. I loved it. If you want to see the article, I would go ahead and Google it. It's a long article. Trump laid out his plans, which basically drives them absolutely bat poop crazy, which started all of this, oh my God, we need to get rid of Trump by any means necessary at this point. But something you have to understand, these lawsuits were always a part of the plan.
And, I go back to the responsibility of Congress here, because had the Senate actually gone through with the impeachment of Donald Trump, we would not be in this situation.
That was Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal who let that slip out. Let me play that again because I think you need to let that sink in.
And, I go back to the responsibility of Congress here, because had the Senate actually gone through with the impeachment of Donald Trump, we would not be in this situation.
We would never be in this situation. What situation is she talking about? Donald Trump running. If the Senate would have convicted him on the impeachments. They obviously thought and really needed a conviction on the impeachment process when they ran through the House and the Senate. Obviously, they didn't have the votes, so it didn't happen. So they moved to the courts right away. That was always the plan. And what makes that important is because now you understand they always knew they could not beat Donald Trump. Their strategy was to eliminate Donald Trump. And what they're realizing at this point is that you Trump supporters are just too stupid for your own good.
Donald Trump went into this month ahead in every swing state, and you see Joe Biden starting to narrow at least some of those margins in those swing states, though Donald Trump is still ahead in the vast majority of them. But are people really tuned into this? Are they seeing King, Sleepy Dawn, etc. This seems like only the high information voters are paying attention.
She actually said that. Do you realize you're contributing to the end of the world? Well, since you inbred deliverance-like Trump supporters are still sticking with your guy, they have a huge dilemma. And that dilemma is, what if one of these judges can't put Trump in an orange jumpsuit? What the hell do we do about Dementia Joe?
Biden's folks don't want him to debate. They don't want to give Trump that platform and risk exposing Biden like that on national TV.
Except I was thinking, if I was in my old job from 2 years ago, you also don't want him to say no, because no is weak and no is fear. So you have to say yes. They both have to say yes. Now, whether this happens, we all know there's lots of things that need to be negotiated.
They are stuck. They are completely stuck. Every single one of them sees these numbers. Every single one of them has known for some time that Dementia Joe, well, he's basically demented. They only went along with the charade because they really thought that Donald Trump would be in jail. And now they're freaking out because the Trump train isn't slowing down, it's actually speeding up. Their plan was to indeed get Trump, and then to get you, and then to get me. Peter Navarro once said this to Tucker Carlson before they threw him in jail.
What it's about really is stopping Donald Trump from standing up for the American people. And three things that I think form what I call the iron triangle of MAGA, Make America Great Again. It's really the thing I was the spearhead of, the fair trade, rather than simply sending our jobs offshore in the name of so-called free trade. It's the securing our borders, both for our economic and national security reasons, and it's an end to all these endless wars. That's what we stand for. And guess what? The special interests in Washington, whether it's Big Pharma or the industrial defense complex, whatever, they can't make money under Donald Trump. All they can do is do what he wants them to do, which is to serve the people. That's what it's about. It's about the weaponization of our injustice system to stop Trump from ever entering the West Wing again.
The most important thing you can do right now is stand strong, stand resolute. As I said, there's no way they can win without fudging the numbers. And I don't even think they can win if they actually do put him in jail. In fact, if the judge up in New York decided he wanted to turn into Tonya Harding and kneecap Donald Trump, I think his numbers would skyrocket. I hope you recognize that reference about Tonya Harding. I realize there might be some younger people watching this video. Go ahead and Google what she did to try and stop her opponent. You'll understand the term kneecapping very well. But that's not because the judge in New York isn't trying to put Trump away. Today, he fined Trump $9,000 for violating the gag order, the stupid gag order, and was ticked off because based upon certain rules, he couldn't charge Trump more money. But he said he may have to, quote, put him in jail.
They are threatening to throw the Republican nominee for president in jail for talking, Harris, for talking during an election. Now, I'm not a lawyer, just play one on TV. But according to the gag, you could have the Loch Ness Monster as a juror, and Trump can't say the Loch Ness Monster is real. That's $1,000. Boom, right there. It's not fair, it's unconstitutional, and it goes against everything that this country stands for.
Hey, Judge Merchant, I dare you. I double dog dare you. See what happens. You think Colombia is a problem right now? You ain't seen nothing, bro. You watch how the American people respond. They won't be going up to New York and burning torches. That's not what I'm talking about. You'll see how they respond. The next poll after you put him in jail, you won't want to read. But do you know who else is daring the judge to put him in jail? Yep, Donald Trump himself. He posted this on True Social right after the judge held him in contempt. This judge has taken away my constitutional right to free speech. I am the only presidential candidate in history to be gagged. This whole trial is rigged. And by taking away my freedom of speech, this highly conflicted judge is rigging the presidential 2024 election. This is election interference. And Trump is 100% right. There are so many problems with this judge. I think he knows that this entire sham will get overturned on appeal, but he's doing it anyway. He's doing it because he's serving somebody. Somebody is pulling the strings and telling this guy, you got to keep him off the campaign trail. But it's not working. And I love what Donald Trump is saying, because that's what I want to see. Never surrender. I want a leader who just stares adversity in the face and says, I'm not backing down. The people on the left, they're stuck with a walking carcass. And they know that horse is ready for the glue factory. Are you ready to fight, America? Are you really ready to fight for this? So let me know what you think about the Dems melting down and how this entire thing is beginning to transpire. Don't forget, this Wednesday night, 5:30, I go live with the Donald Trump rally out at Freeland, Michigan, Saginaw County, Michigan. I'd love for you to join me. Just click right here. It'll take you to the live broadcast page where you can click to be notified so you don't miss it when I go live on Wednesday night at 5:30. Talk to you soon.